Hey guys, today we're going to dive into GaryVee's impact on sports card investing. Stay tuned. Hello again, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today I'm going to be talking about the very popular marketing guru turned motivational speaker, GaryVee, or Gary Vaynerchuk. He has kind of spoken up over the last year on sports card investing, and it's really refreshing, honestly, because he falls into my age group. I'm 38, almost 39. He's a little bit older than me, but it's the same generation. A little bit of background on Gary Vee. He was born in the former Soviet Union, came over as an immigrant, worked for his family's wine business / liquor business, and ended up building his father's wine business from a $3 million company to a $60 million company, and was one of the pioneers of really using YouTube and Google for advertising back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, as it became more popular. You can look back. I mean, he's got videos from 10 years ago, a little bit longer, on wine. So he's been around at it. He's a huge believer in social media. He believes it's the present opportunity and the future of everything. Not necessarily that these platforms are, but that the television, the radio, all of that stuff is becoming extinct in place of places like YouTube and podcasting and all the rest of it. So really interesting guy as a whole. I learned about Gary Vee a few years ago on the marketing side, before even sports cards investing was in the picture, as far as he was concerned, or at least talking about it. And really motivational. I really enjoy a lot of his outlook on just look, we have to be grateful just to be human beings on the planet, even let alone in the U.S. We just have so many opportunities here. And instead of kind of whining and complaining, we just need to make things happen, essentially, is his bottom line advice. And it's great and it's refreshing. So he's somebody that you can kind of look up to. He's got a huge following. He's built a massive following. So about a year ago, Gary Vee, really kind of opened up the discussion on sports card investing. He opened up that he's gotten more into it, and that he used to flip cards back in the late 80s, early 90s, just like I did as a kid, and it's coming back. It's the nostalgia factor. It's the 35 to 45 year olds that are going back to their childhood, and they're getting back into it. And it's with the grading companies, and it's more legitimate than it was back then. There's not anywhere near as much of a print run as there used to be. They used to just print millions of cards back then, and everyone collected. The demand was high, but then once the demand went down, there was too much supply, and now you can get Mark McGuire and Bo Jackson rookie cards are a dime a dozen, just as an example. And so now we have a valid asset class, you could argue, that is very investable. And he is one. I think he's actually bringing not only great exposure, but he's bringing money into the market, big money. I mean, he's talking about it. He's got videos where he's talking about it with NBA basketball players. I know that he talks about it with rappers and all the folks that are in sneaker investing. There's only so much inventory in sneakers, and so it gives you the opportunity in sports cards to seg over. You can just seg right over to sports cards, and you have a ton of inventory that you can work with to flip. Whereas with sneakers, you just don't have that. They're fewer and far between. And so this gives you just more opportunity, sports card investing. So he's bringing a lot of money into the market. It will affect pricing, I just feel like, because all the money he's bringing in himself, and then along with his pals and through his following, it just brings a ton of dollars into this market that were not there a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, which is going to push prices up. So can that sustain over time? I think that it can. In one sense, I think that it can, because I don't think that we've really hit those high markers yet as far as money pouring into this market. I think that there's still a lot of just average Joes that are getting back into it, and also celebrities. And I think it's going to be cool to have Michael Jordan rookie cards, just as it is to have his first set of shoes that came out, as the sneaker investors do. So as that kind of picks up, I think that the next 4 or 5 years, if not more, are going to be fairly strong. I don't know if it's going to stay as strong as it is right this second, but I do think that it's going to be an alternative investment that has legs and staying power. So GaryVee, I've heard things about, it's he's influencing the market and he's manipulating the market. I don't believe that he's intentionally doing that, but just having a figure like him that has a huge following that's speaking up on it, it's really no different than a Jim Cramer picking stocks or a Warren Buffett that's giving stock advice. I don't really see it as being any different, but now we have somebody that does have a huge following that is taking this seriously, and that's great for all of us. So thank you, GaryVee, and hopefully more and more figures come into this as it becomes more popular and people see that it's viable. Thanks for stopping by, and we will talk to you guys again soon.